It wasn't a monster from a distant planet that stared back at me, but something far more mysterious. Its eyes, ancient and knowing, were locked onto mine from behind the thick glass of its tank. This creature had no bones, 3 hearts, blue blood. It could change its color and shape in the blink of an eye, pouring its body through an opening no bigger than its own eyeball. This was no alien from outer space. It was an octopus, a resident of our own world's deep, dark oceans. And in that moment, I realized I was looking at a mind so profoundly different from our own, it might as well have come from another galaxy. It was a silent greeting from an intelligence that has been watching us, learning about us, from its watery realm. The first time you truly connect with an octopus, everything you thought you knew about intelligence gets turned upside down. We humans tend to think of smarts in human terms. Language, math, building skyscrapers. But what if intelligence can look completely different? What if it's the ability to taste with your skin to solve a puzzle with 8 independent arms, or to disappear into your surroundings so perfectly that you become invisible? The octopus challenges our very definition of what it means to be smart. It's a creature that proves a brain doesn't have to be encased in a skull to be brilliant, and that a mind can exist distributed and vibrant throughout an entire body. Most people see an octopus and think of a strange, rubbery sea creature, perhaps a bit creepy. They might remember tales of sea monsters or cartoons with silly 8-legged characters. But spend just a little time with one, and that perception shatters. You begin to see a personality emerge. You see curiosity in its gaze. You witness deliberate, calculated actions that are impossible to dismiss as mere instinct. When you think of an octopus, you probably think of its 8 arms, but these are not just limbs, they are 8 extensions of a brilliant mind. Each arm is packed with neurons. In fact, about 2/3 of an octopus's total neurons are located in its arms, not its central brain. This means each arm can think for itself to a degree. One arm trying to unscrew the lid of a jar, another arm exploring a rock for food, a third arm waving hello to a curious diver. It's like having 8 smaller brains working together with one central command center. This distributed intelligence is unlike anything we experience as humans, where our brain is the sole boss. Imagine trying to do 8 different complex things at once. You might try to text with one hand, drink coffee with the other, and maybe scratch an itch with your foot. But an octopus takes this to an entirely new level. Its arms can independently taste everything they touch. Its arms can independently touch everything they contact. That's thanks to chemical receptors, the suckers that line their length. This gives the octopus a 360-degree sensory experience of its world. It doesn't just see its environment, it doesn't just hear its environment, it tastes every inch of it, it feels every inch of it. This constant stream of information flows from the arms to the central brain, painting a rich and detailed picture of its surroundings. This unique neural structure allows for incredible multitasking. While its central brain is busy observing a potential threat, if there is one thing octopuses are universally famous for among aquarium keepers, it is their uncanny ability to escape. They are the Houdinis of the sea, capable of squeezing their boneless bodies through the tiniest of cracks and openings. An octopus's body is pure muscle and flesh, the only hard part being its beak. Beak similar in substance to a parrot's beak. This means that if its beak can fit through a hole, the entire rest of its body can follow. Keepers have told countless stories of finding tanks mysteriously empty in the morning, only to discover the octopus chilling in a neighboring tank, having gone for a nighttime stroll to visit a friend or, more often, to find a snack. One of the most famous escapees was a common octopus named Inky, who lived at the National Aquarium of New Zealand. One night, Inky decided his tank was no longer to his liking. He managed to climb to the top slip through a small gap left by maintenance workers and scuttle 8 feet across the floor. He then located a drain pipe just 6 inches in diameter that led directly to the ocean. Inky squeezed his entire body into that pipe and made a successful bid for freedom, disappearing into Hawke's Bay. He was never seen again. This wasn't a random act, it required observation planning and a clear goal: freedom. These escapes aren't just feats of physical flexibility, they are acts of remarkable problem-solving. Intelligence isn't just about survival, it's also about curiosity and play. And octopuses, it turns out, love to play. In aquariums and research labs, they have been observed engaging in activities that have no apparent purpose other than amusement. One famous example involved an octopus repeatedly pushing a plastic bottle into a stream of water in its tank. It would release the bottle, watch it shoot across the tank, swim over to retrieve it, and do it all over again. This is classic object play. like what we see in dolphins' dogs and human children. It's a sign of a mind not just focused on food and safety, but one that can experience boredom and seeks entertainment. This playful nature can border on mischievous. Aquarium keepers have many stories of octopuses causing a little trouble. Some learn that squirting a jet of water at a person will get a reaction, and they wait until the person looks away to fire a perfectly aimed stream. Beyond play, evidence shows octopuses can plan for the future, once thought exclusive to humans. The most striking example? The veined octopus. Researchers watched them gather discarded coconut shell halves. They awkwardly carried the shells as they moved across the seafloor. At first, scientists were puzzled. Why carry that burden? The answer came when a predator appeared. When we say an octopus can be smarter than a 2-year-old child, it might sound like a wild exaggeration. But, when you break it down and look at specific cognitive skills, the comparison starts to make a surprising amount of sense. Consider problem solving for a moment. If you give a toddler a clear box with a tricky latch that contains a toy, chances are they'll get frustrated, maybe bang on the box or even cry for help. But an octopus, presented with a similar challenge, like a tasty crab inside a screw-top jar, will approach it with systematic patience. It investigates the jar, its arms exploring every surface, and through trial and error, figures out the twisting motion needed to open the lid. That right there is a level of focused, mechanical problem-solving that can often surpass what you see in a young human. Another area where octopuses really shine is in their ability to learn by observation. In one famous experiment, an octopus had to learn how to get a food reward from a box with 2 different colored levers. The octopus learned that pressing the correct color would open the box. But what was truly amazing, honestly, was that other octopuses, just watching from a separate tank, also learned the solution simply by observing the first one. They didn't need to go through the trial and error process themselves. This type of social learning is a hallmark of high intelligence, something that human children are just beginning to master at the age of 2 or 3. Now think about the concept of object permanence, the understanding that an object still exists even when you can't see it. This is a major developmental milestone for a human baby, usually achieved around 8 months old. But an octopus masters this concept with ease. It'll watch a shrimp swim behind a rock, and know to go around the rock to find it. It will even remember where it stashed a piece of food in its den for later. But the octopus actually takes it a step further. Its ability to change color and texture to perfectly match its surroundings shows an advanced understanding of not just its own existence, but how it is perceived by others. It's not just hiding, it's actively manipulating its own visibility, which is a concept far beyond a toddler's grasp. In the world of spatial reasoning, puzzle solving, and adaptive learning, this 8-armed genius can absolutely give a human toddler a run for its money. The idea of tool use was once considered a defining characteristic of humanity. We thought we were the only creatures on Earth smart enough to pick up an object and use it to accomplish a task. Then we discovered that chimpanzees use sticks to fish for termites. Crows use twigs to pry out grubs. But finding this behavior in an invertebrate, a mollusk, was revolutionary. The octopus shattered that old boundary. As we've seen with the coconut-carrying veined octopus, these creatures don't just use tools they find, they carry them around in anticipation of future needs. That foresight is far more complex. This wasn't a one-off discovery. Different species of octopus use tools in different ways tailored to their environments. The blanket octopus, for instance, has a daring defense. It seeks out and tears off tentacles from the venomous Portuguese man-o-war. The octopus is immune to the venom. It then carries those stinging tentacles like a weapon to fend off predators. That's tool use plus a sophisticated understanding of another creature's biology. It's like a knight finding a dragon's tooth and learning how to use its fire. In controlled lab tests, the cleverness continues. Researchers put octopuses in front of transparent boxes with food. The boxes only had a small opening on one side. They used a jet of water from their siphon to blow the food across the box. They used the water itself as a tool, manipulating physics to their advantage. Perhaps one of the most human-like and therefore most startling abilities of the octopus is its capacity to recognize individual people. At aquariums and research facilities around the world, keepers have reported that their octopuses react differently to different humans. They might eagerly swim to the front of the tank for a favorite keeper, the one who brings them tasty crabs or plays with them. In one study at the Seattle Aquarium, 2 researchers were assigned different roles. One consistently fed the octopuses, while the other would touch them with a bristly stick, a mildly annoying sensation. The researchers wore identical blue uniforms to ensure the octopuses weren't just reacting to clothing. Very quickly, the octopuses learned to distinguish between the two individuals. They would approach the nice keeper with gentle, exploratory arms, but would hide or aim their water jets at the mean keeper. This demonstrated that they could recognize individual faces and associate them with positive or negative experiences. This ability to form relationships, both positive and negative, points to a complex emotional and social intelligence. It means they can remember specific past events and the individuals associated with them, and then alter their future behavior based on those memories. This is the foundation of what we call a grudge. An octopus that repeatedly squirts one person and not another isn't just acting randomly, it is communicating its displeasure. It's a deliberate act of singling someone out, a behavior that feels deeply personal and surprisingly familiar. It shows they are not just passive observers of their world, but active participants with opinions about those they interact with. When we look into an octopus's tank, it is looking back and forming an opinion of us. The octopus doesn't just see a large shape outside its tank, it sees you. What is it like to be an octopus? This is a question that philosophers and scientists alike are beginning to ask. The octopus mind is so radically different from our own that it challenges our understanding of consciousness itself. We've journeyed into the alien world of the octopus, a creature that escapes from supposedly secure tanks, uses tools with foresight, plays games for fun, and even holds grudges against people it dislikes. The octopus is a marvel of evolution, a brilliant mind housed in a body of pure potential. They are thinking, feeling individuals who deserve our respect, our protection, and our endless curiosity. As we continue to explore our world's waters, we must do so with a sense of wonder and responsibility. It is up to us to ensure that future generations will also have the chance to marvel at their intelligence. Now I want to hear from you. Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below, and subscribe for more stories about the hidden wonders of the animal kingdom. Let's keep exploring together.